and they're all going to head off. And we've got 3 lights on. And I'll tell you what, out of number 3 there, it was Veltmeyer got a great start as they head down into turn 1. And it was Veltmeyer up in the 2nd position there behind Nick Burke. Nick Burke got a good start as they head down under the bridge for the very first time. So it's Burke with Veltmeyer in pursuit. Then we go back to, I'll tell you what, great. Actually, I'll tell you what, Veltmeyer looks like he's... Burke's actually been dropped off. It looks like Sean White and Veltmeyer have got through on them. Up over the top they go, heading down now towards the higher pool hairpin. And good scrap at the front there. Big field of bikes as they come out of there with a climb up the hill they go. A massive group of them. Everybody seems to be quite cleanly through the up and over as they drop down into the higher pool hairpin. And so can't quite pick up the numbers on those bikes there as they run off down towards the Dale ITM sweeper. And you've got good scrap at the front there. Look at this, swapping positions there. Through into Dale ITM they go. And you could throw a blanket over the next bunch back for that 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th position. So up the hill they come for the first time of their 8 tours. And across the stripe they'll come any second now. And it is Veltmeyer from Regan Phibbs who sets the fastest lap on that first race. Then we go back to Hayden Lockhart as they come down into turn 1. But let's look at the scrap that's going on the top between Phibbs and Veltmeyer. They're down under the bridge, and it is Veltmeyer leads. Through the up and over they go. And heading down towards the higher pool hairpin. Big gaggle of bikes coming through behind them. Down into, oh, look at this. Phibbs trying to get around the outside of Veltmeyer there. Veltmeyer sees that coming. And then this next little group here is absolutely covered. Lockhart, Stroud, White and Burke are in there. And that information I got was obviously not correct. Stroud didn't start off the back. I thought I saw him on the row there. So Stroud, he's right in the middle of that as well. And so there's a good scrap going on for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th now as Timothy Gray joins the back of that little bunch. So up the hill they come. And these 2 at the front are romping away from everybody else. Veltmeyer and Phibbs, they're nigh on a 2.5 seconds quicker than the guys behind them. But the 2 of them, you could throw a blanket over the 2 of them. There's nothing in it. There's about 0.3 of a second difference on that last lap as they come across the stripe one more time. It is Veltmeyer again. And Phibbs has a look around the outside of him at turn 1. It doesn't quite come off. And we'll pick up that next group as they come through there as well, because that was headed by Lockhart. Gray up in the 4th. Then we go back to Stroud, who'd just dropped the position off the last lap, and then Sean White in there as well. Then we go back to Nick Burke and then Grant Cullen. Down under the bridge they go. Look at this. I'll tell you who was that off the back. That looked like Nick Burke having a look at Sean White as they went through under the bridge. Through the up and over they go. Meanwhile, back at the front there, Veltmeyer and Phibbs are at it, hammer and tong. And Phibbs is looking every which way but loose, trying to get past. Look at this, 3 abreast round the high pool hairpin, and that was Stroud, White and Burke. And then right in behind them, I think it was, it was Gray, Stroud and White. And Burke was sitting right in behind them. So as they all fire off down towards the higher pool hairpin, down towards the Dale ITM sweeper. This time it looks like Veltmeyer's opened up a little bit of a gap back to Regan Phibbs as they come out of there. Maybe Phibbs is just taking a second breath to have another look at him coming up the hill here. But let's keep an eye on that scrap that's going on behind him, because that's a real ding-dong now. Hang on a second, Phibbs is going round the outside of him now. Have we got to pass the position across the start-finish stripe? Let's have a look. And no, Veltmeyer just dropped the position back, and he's just pulled that back again. Meanwhile, here comes the next bunch, and there's a bit of a gap now gone between Hayden Lockhart, Timothy Gray. They're broken away from Stroud and Burke and Cullen. Back to our lead bikes. Through the up and over they go. And there comes that next little battle group there. And here comes our 2 lead bikes. They're just getting into the back markers now as they come up the hill there. And because that's one of the one of the Clumpton's guys there. And Veltmeyer has just used a little bit of that traffic to break away a little bit from Phibbs. Then we look back at the next two as they come through, and that's Lockhart and Timothy Gray. Gray right on Lockhart's tail, and then just been behind them, it's Sean White and Jacob Stroud, and then Timothy and Nick Burke on their tail as well. So looking for our two lead bikes. They're coming up the hill here now. Not too far before they come into view, coming across the start-finish stripe. And Regan Phibbs now back in front of Veltmeyer, and but then Veltmeyer takes that back again going into turn one as they come down under the bridge. Or is that Phibbs got back in front? Unfortunately, both bikes similar colours now. No, it's Veltmeyer's back in front again as they go through the higher pull hairpin, through the up and over they go with a climb up with the drop down into the heading up now towards the Porsche dipper. They've really pulled a gap on that group in behind them now, and that group's starting to spread out a little bit. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a fight going on in between there, and that looks like that could be Gray and Stroud. He dropped back in the 7th position after that last run. So down the long straightaway goes Veltmeyer and Phibbs as they head down in towards the Dale ITM sweeper. This time there's a bit of a gap between those two as they come up the hill here. They're going to come back into view anytime soon, come across the stripe. And it is Phibbs now leads across Veltmeyer through in second. There was just on 1.3 seconds difference between them as they came across the line. Let's watch them head down now towards the bridge. And Phibbs has got a decent gap on Veltmeyer now as they go down through the higher pull hairpin, and Phibbs is using the back traffic to his advantage here. Higher pull hairpin now, Phibbs through there. Veltmeyer goes through. Veltmeyer gets crowded again by traffic. It just seems that Phibbs is picking the best route through the traffic at this point in time. Watching him come up the hill now with the drop down into the dipper. And that gap's opened out to probably 2 seconds now between Phibbs and Veltmeyer. And now as they get into the back track, it's almost impossible to pick up where they are now, right in the middle of this big group of traffic as they go through there. And it looks like I can see Phibbs has got caught. Now it's Phibbs' turn to get bombed. And he gets held right up. That gives Veltmeyer a little bit of breathing space. Manages to close up that gap a little bit more as they come up the hill. Here comes Phibbs now. That gap is probably still out around about the 1.8 second mark as they come across the start-finish line. Let's have a look at them as they come into view. Here comes Phibbs now, and that's it. Takes the checker flag out. Veltmeyer comes through in second position in 2.2 seconds behind. Now we're looking for the next group. Where are they? They're going to be can't be too far away now as they come into view. Anytime soon, there's that back group that's coming in for third, fourth and fifth, and that's Lockhart takes out third position. Here comes Gray in fourth. Then we're looking for the next 2, 3, 4 to come through, and it's Sean White from Stroudy. Then it's Nick Burke takes out 7th position, and that was that great little scrap that had been going on for race long between those two. They finally got spread out. Once they got into the traffic, it was just a little bit difficult. Grant Cullen comes through in 8th position. We're probably looking for Josh Augustine to come through in 9th, but there's a bit of a fight going on with Ben Cook here as they come across the line, and it is Augustine takes it out from Cook. Gabriel Tan, who was on the second position off the start-finish line, finished in 11th position, and Fabio Santos in 12th. Butson comes through in 13th. 14th is Alistair Wilton. Graham Turner, good finish for Graham, up there in 15th, just in front of Jesse Stroud in 16th. Lauren May comes through in 17th. 18th is Josh Keeling. Shane Bailey comes through in 19th position, and Paul Dower rounds out the field in the top 20. So there we go. That was a great race there for